the Eagles. I mean, this is a guy who is fast. He can run with any receiver in the league. I think for the past couple of years, he's gotten a little bit away from his technique, relying too much on the speed. And you start to see receivers kind of get up in his chest and be able to push off at the top of routes and things of that nature. I know Christian Parker, last year's secondary coach for the Eagles, who's helped to develop guys like Quinyon Mitchell, guys like Cooper DeJean is gone, and Mike Pellegrino is a new coach now. But, man, I love the Eagles' corners and their technique, man, the way they play, the way they get their hands on people. I need to see Tariq Woolen get back to that version of himself, getting his hands on people, because I'm telling you, if he can disrupt at the line of scrimmage, this guy can run with absolutely anybody in the league. I don't care who you name. So I want him to see him get back to his technique, get back to the best version of himself, because this is a Pro Bowl caliber player when he's playing that way.
Pro Bowl caliber player. Isn't that kind of interesting? Because, like, the scouting reports on him is he's too handsy. And he's saying he needs to get his hands on people, which I guess those two do kind of play out together. If you're using your speed, you could kind of hand check people as you go. But you know what? Hey, they are definitely better at the cornerback positions this year. I will give you that. Or from last week.
Yeah, from last week. I mean, listen, Adoree Jackson was serviceable, but nobody felt really confident leaving him out there on an island all the time.
He got better as the year went on. At times, he was not very serviceable at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, the beginning, we were really worried.
Yes.
And clearly the Eagles were, too. That's why they traded for Jacorian Bennett. It just didn't work out.
But I do believe that when you look at everything as a whole, you want guys to kind of get better as the season goes on, and I think that's the way the Eagles play it defensively. The Eagles could play it defensively the way, like, all right, well, if we're a little off, Vic will make some changes, he'll make some tweaks, and then they'll be as good as they have been. So, I mean, I have no qualms about the defense. There are holes. There are holes that are out there, and I'm talking roster-wise. I'm not even talking like coaching-wise. I'm talking roster-wise. I still have the questions about the edge. You do too. I still have questions about the safety. I mean, you think about Mukuba. He didn't really get a ton of time last year, in a sense.
No, with the broken ankle or whatever he was suffering.
No Reed Blankenship. So you're basically like 1.5 players down right now in the safety position.
So here's something that they might do this year. Zach Berman, who does a really nice job covering the Eagles for The Athletic, he talked about how in base packages, so last season, if you remember, when the Eagles would go to their base package, which isn't often, it's less than 25-30% of the time, but when they would go to their base package, they would consider moving Cooper DeJean to the outside. So you would have Cooper and Quinyon as your two outside corners.
Yep.
Well, if you add a Pro Bowl caliber player in Tariq Woolen, you might be able to now put Woolen on one side, Quinyon on the other, and then who becomes your safety in base package?
Coop.
Listen to Zach Berman on moving Coop to safety in base.
And the other thing, too, and I'm speculating this, I haven't been told this, I would expect Cooper DeJean to play safety in base. And they're not in base too often, but the times that they are, I do know Vic Fangio likes Cooper DeJean in that role. And you're saying, like, who's your best four? You just lost Reed Blankenship yesterday. There are times when you can field a secondary with Tariq Woolen and Quinyon Mitchell on the outside, and then Cooper DeJean and Drew Mukuba at safety. And I think that's a good outcome for the Eagles on March 10th.
Yeah, it is a good outcome. And if you think about this, I know they don't go base often, but if you go to a 5-man front in certain situations, that would allow you to have Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and Maro Ajomo all on the field at the same time at the D-tackle position. You'd have Bond and Campbell as your off-ball linebackers, and then you'd have a secondary that consists of Quinyon, Woolen, Cooper DeJean, and Drew Mukuba as your safeties. Jalen Hunt, Nolan Smith is your edge. Yeah, would I have rather seen Jalen Phillips on the edge? Probably.
Yeah.
But that's still a pretty damn good defense.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I mean, if you could flip things around, you could use Cooper DeJean in different places. We all know this, okay? But you're talking about 20% of the time is what Berman was talking about, which, okay, that's understood. I just think, you know what? I just think there's still a need. There's still a need for a safety. Even after you just said that, brought that up, we heard the audio, I still think there's a need to get a safety in here. I don't think a rookie guy is going to be that answer. If you think about it with the two safeties, you're going to be playing Mukuba out there. Are two basically young kids in the back end of your defense? Is that really the answer that you want as an Eagles fan? I would say 99% of the fans would say no.
No, and anyone who was hoping Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was going to be the answer coming back, he's done it every other year. He signed yesterday with the Buffalo Bills, so he is off the table. I mean, it is interesting. You look at the free agent safety market. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson only got $6 million on a one-year deal from Buffalo. Brisker, who was a pretty good player, he goes to the Steelers for under $6 million on a one-year deal. It's interesting that the Eagles did not get in on either one of those players, and then they let Reed Blankenship walk for a little over, what was it, $8 million a year. I still would have liked to have seen them bring back Reed. But I want to hear from people out there. Are the Eagles better or worse? And I want to hear why. And remember, not only texts, you could also send your voice memos, and we will give the best voice memo of the day knockout tickets. For March 25th, Sixers-Bulls, you play knockout against us after the game on the Sixers court. It's a lot of fun. Voice memos are already starting to come in, Ricky. So we hear you twice today. Not only at 5:25 like we always do it, we're going to do it at 3:45. We will qualify the best voice memo from 3:45, and then we'll go up against whatever the best voice memo is at 5:25, and that will be the winner of the knockout tickets. Entertaining and sports take. You got to give us both in the voice memo. 610-632-0975. All right, as we're debating this, though, Ricky, better or worse? Mm-hmm. You're saying worse. The majority of the people on the Twitter poll are saying worse. Even though I'm trying to make the case where I think they are better, I will agree their floor this year is probably a lot lower than what it was last season. Because when we talk about the floor, there's a chance Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens aren't as healthy as we want them to be. Now your offense is going to struggle. There's a chance A.J. Brown's not here. There's a chance Jalen Hurts doesn't adapt to the Sean Mannion style of offense, right? And then all those questions you brought up on the defense side of the ball, yeah, they're still there too. The floor's low.
And there's things you're always going to bring up because of the offensive line, and the guys have been beat up, especially the three of them, Dickerson, Johnson, and Cam Jurgens. If any of those guys start getting beat up again and you're missing one or two of them for several weeks, where's your depth?
Yeah, you got to go in the draft, I guess. But
that looks like the only way to go right now.
Yeah, that's hit or miss. You know, we don't know what they'll get in the draft. Same thing with the tight end position if Goddard's not back. But
see, there still are questions. I mean, there's definitive questions. I mean, I think we're feeling pretty good about the offensive line right now. You heard about the stem cell guys going down to Columbia and getting whatever done, Jurgens and Dickerson. But, I mean, and by the way, I rethought about this. Why do you think Dickerson went? Did you think about this? Probably not.
I don't know where you're going.
Probably because Jurgens said he feels great after it.
It's a good point, Ricky. Glass half full.
That's exactly.
That's a good point.
Yeah, wait a minute. I'm not supposed to be doing that right now.
No, you're Debbie Downer
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I was thinking about that at home. I'm like, well, if somebody told me they went and got their shoulder shot up and it felt pretty good, I'm going to go take a shot.
Dude, that might be the
literally
best,
and figuratively.
That may be the best point you've made on the show in 10 months. And I'm not taking a shot at you. That is an excellent – I didn't even think about that.
That's a good point.
Why would – if Jurgens went and did it, yeah, Landon must have asked him, so how was it?
How'd it go?
And he's like, oh, dude, I feel amazing.
Well, I mean, let's face it. You know those guys are talking in the offseason. He said he's going for this thing, and Dickerson was like, I still don't feel 100%. How'd it go? Dude, I feel like a brand new guy. Zip, I'm on a plane the next day.
I think Ricky's coming over to my side.
No.
You're positive Ricky today.
No. By the way, that would be positive Paulie. Get him straight.
Positive Paulie. All right, let me see if you're this negative today, though.
Yeah, boy.
So I played a clip earlier of Chris Canty from Unsportsmanlike. We were just talking about the floor for the Eagles. Do you believe the floor for the Eagles is actually lower than what the Cowboys' floor is? Listen to Canty.
I don't know what's going to happen with Philly. I don't know what's going on with them from a chemistry standpoint. The Giants, the Commanders.
Text in. I'm trying to find out right now.
All right, so if you remember earlier in the week, it was reported that Dallas Goedert and the Eagles had pushed back the void date. If he does not re-sign before today at some point, the Eagles would be on the hook for a $20 million dead cap. So something's going to happen with Goddard. I do expect it to happen while we're on the air, so make sure you keep it here. But the A.J. Brown stuff is getting interesting, Ricky. So there's a new report of a team that might be interested in trading for A.J. Brown. Now, this comes from Diana Rossini, and I always preface it with take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes she's spot on. Other times she completely misses. But this is what Diana Rossini put out a couple hours ago. The A.J. Brown trade discussions are not dead. Last week, I was told the Rams discussed trading for Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown before dealing for cornerback Trent McDuffie. The dialogue slowed, but Los Angeles continues to monitor the status of the three-time Pro Bowler with interest. We'll see where both parties go from here. Let me say this, Ricky. I'm hanging up the phone on the L.A. Rams. I want no parts of trading A.J. Brown to the L.A. Rams. First of all, I already view the L.A. Rams as a Super Bowl favorite. Their offense is stacked. They have Puka Nacua. They have Devontae Adams. They have Matthew Stafford. They have good tight ends. They have a good running back. And now defensively, they got Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson in that secondary, which was their only weak spot last year. If you trade A.J. Brown to the Los Angeles Rams, then basically punt on the season because the Rams are winning the Super Bowl. Do not make this move. Do not.
Don't make the move. Okay. I understand where you're coming from. You don't want to make a team better, right? That's the one thing you don't want to do, especially a team in your own conference. You don't want to make them better. I get it. What if I told you it could get you a big need of yours?
I'm listening.
You're listening?
I'm listening to you.
Well, you would assume that the Rams would have to give up at least one number one pick. What if I told you they had a number one pick this year still?
I'm leaning forward with
and
interest.
It's number 13. What does that do for you?
Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon.
That would get you Kenyon Sadiq.
Still not doing it.
Yeah, how about a number 4 to go with it? Or a number 3 to go with it?
I don't believe – look.
You just do not want to give them any more momentum than they already need because you think they're the favorite to go to the Super Bowl as is.
Well, they are the favorite to go to the Super Bowl as is,
right.
pursuant to every sports book.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm talking about you in your own heart believe that they are the favorite to go.
Well, I just look at it like I just made the case on why the Eagles could be better, and one of the reasons was Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Tariq Woolen in the secondary. As good as those three guys might be, good luck trying to stop A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams, and Puka Nacua with Matthew Stafford at quarterback in a Sean McVay offense.
Yeah, I get. Look, I don't think this is real. And I brought that up because I the first thing I wanted to see is what picks do the Rams even still have? They just traded away a number one. Apparently, they had another one that was sitting there at 13 that they got from the Atlanta Falcons, so it's there. But And the first thing I thought of at 13 was exactly what you did, Kenyon Sadiq. Why wouldn't you? It would be a perfect fit. He would slide right into the Eagles' game plan, and I think it would be great. But I also have that side of me that says, why would I want to make that team better? Why would you want to make the Rams a better team? And if you sat there and did not think that A.J. Brown was still good, you're out of your mind. You put him over there, and he becomes exceptional. He'd probably be pissed off, though, because Puka's getting all the catches.
Now, do the Rams still have the 29th overall pick as well? Or did they trade that for McDuffie?
I think it went to McDuffie.
Or do they still have theirs? Did they trade a 27 first-rounder for McDuffie?
It's saying here that they only have one pick in the first round. That's number 13.
Are we sure about that?
They're set to pick number 13 overall and also number 29 overall.
Yeah, I think
the Chiefs got the 2026 first round, number 29.
So the Chiefs did get it. Now, why is it still coming up everywhere that they have the 29?
Yeah, because this was from 3 hours ago that said that.
Yeah, so look at the details of the Trent McDuffie trade for me, Ricky. Officially, they got the 29th overall pick.
Chiefs get 2026 first round pick, number 29, 26 fifth round, 26 sixth round, 27 third round.
All right, so then if that's the case,
I'll double check.
No, you're correct. It is. They gave up the 29th.
Yeah,
right. They gave up the 29th. Because I don't believe that the Rams would be willing to give you the 13th overall pick and anything else for A.J. Brown. Like the New England Patriots, we know the Eagles were asking for a first, a second, and maybe a player, but the Patriots are picking 31st. The value of a 31st overall pick compared to 13th is drastic.
It is a big difference. That's you know what? Somebody might have set this one up. I mean, this may be set up to make us, you know what, feel all warm and cozy that somebody would want to give up a 13th pick and something else for A.J. Brown. And you know what? It really does make you think. I mean, it made me think of Kenyon Sadiq right away. I mean, that was the first name that came to mind, so I went and checked. And, yeah, there it is. Sitting at 13 is the number one pick for this season. But and the other thing that makes you think, the Rams aren't afraid. They're not afraid to give up their picks for assets.
They always do.
For roster assets.
Now, you just said someone might have put this out there to make you feel a certain way. My theory, now I can't prove this, but this is my theory. Howie Roseman fed this to Diana Russini. Howie Roseman says to Diana Russini, listen, the Rams are really interested in A.J. Brown. And why would he do that? To put pressure on the New England Patriots, for them to think there's another team in the mix, because that could drive up the price. Now, the Patriots general manager met with the media, and he was specifically asked about A.J. Brown and if there was a deadline on getting the deal done. He didn't shut it down. He actually answers the question. Listen to Elliot Wolf, GM for the Patriots.
I think the only real deadlines you have are, sort of maybe salary cap related, is if, for instance, did we spend money in free agency that would take us out of something else? But I wouldn't say that there's a deadline, again, on trying to improve the team.
Sounds like he's still interested, doesn't it? He also mentioned in the same press conference how well he gets along with Howie Roseman, and they got a great relationship.
Is he trying to butter Howie up?
I still think it gets done with New England.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
But you're thinking right after June 1st.
Maybe it's a next year's draft pick.
It very well could be. It very well could be, but, man, it would be nice to move up.
For Kenyon Sadiq, you love him. I do, too. That would fill a lot of needs, even if you bring back Goddard.
By the way, you love him because he's so highly rated in what he did in the Combine. I mean, he was highly rated, obviously, coming out, but when he went through the Combine, he's breaking all kinds of Combine records. Doesn't that make you turn your head a little bit more and your eyes go wide open?
Yeah, and even if they bring back Dallas Goedert, I'm still drafting a tight end if I have an opportunity to get a game changer like Sadiq to fill that role when Goddard eventually moves on in a couple years. But we'll bring you that as soon as we get it. What are people saying on the text board about the A.J. Brown stuff?
All right, so we have a really interesting text from Jason who says, trade AJ for the best deal, period. AJ's washed up and quit in the playoffs. No team will win with him.
Oh, I don't know if I can go there.
No, I don't think you can go there.
Plus, if AJ does get traded, whoever gets him is getting the best version of him. He's going to come in motivated. He's going to be all fired up.
Yeah,
You're probably getting a 1,300-yard
season. And it seems like that stars like him, like a superstar like him, when you go to another team, you want to show the fan base that, hey, look at me, look what I could do. You go to the Rams, I don't know if you're going to be that guy. I don't know if he would be happy.
You're not that guy, pal.
Well, Devontae and Puka, those guys are getting their catches. Puka catches everything.
Yeah, there's no way that he gets more yardage over there at the Rams.
I don't think so either.
He wants his stat pad. That's the whole reason he wants Hall of Fame numbers.
Now,
how is that possible going to the Rams?
Silvana said, someone on the text board said, well, what if you get Devontae Adams back? But I don't think they would trade Devontae.
Devontae and a number one back?
Nah, you're not giving up that for AJ.
I don't think so either.
Nah, you're not giving up. It would be like Devontae in like a fifth or something, maybe. But I don't think they want to get rid of Devontae. He's a red zone machine.
And to be completely honest with you, the number 13 pick in the draft is what you really want.
Nah, this is how we drive.
No, but do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but this isn't happening.
Like, I don't think you're going to trade Devontae Adams for A.J. Brown. Howie wouldn't be happy with that.
It's Howie driving up the price. Well, look, we will continue to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Are they better or worse? Get your texts in. Get your voice memos in. Coming up, I also want to detour a little bit, and I want to talk about the Sixers and the Flyers, because the shorthanded Sixers, as expected, got smoked last night by the Pistons. But the Flyers won their second game in a row on a back-to-back in Minnesota, and now they find themselves 5 points out of a playoff spot. Should we be rooting for the Sixers and Flyers to win games to get into the playoffs, or should we be rooting for them to lose games to improve their draft position?
Are you kidding me?
We'll talk about it. Coming up next, Unfiltered, 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia.
All right.